Saki mbwembwana kwele mchele kwa kuku kumwaga. Sako na wapenda haya tusema nitasikia.
Hi everyone, my name's Kristen Harnisch and I am an author and I am thrilled to be here with you Unite Scholars and talk to you today about becoming an author and really pursuing your passion in life. First of all, I want to congratulate you all on having come this far and having achieved so much. You are already hard workers, you are already persevere, you already take your studies seriously, and you will go very far in this world. But it's so important to make sure you go far with joy in your heart. And that's what the Passion Project is really all about, finding what your purpose is. We are all divine, we all have a spark in us, some purpose that we have to fill here on earth. Hopefully to leave the world a better place. So I am here, hopefully, to give you my thoughts about finding your passion. So I am an author of historical fiction. I write novels about bygone eras and life in the past. And I wasn't always an author. I actually started out as a university student studying economics, and I graduated with my economics degree, and I went to work for a bank. And I worked for banks in New York City and in Boston, and I worked in their marketing department selling banking products like checking accounts and savings accounts and loans to customers. And I found that I was really good at it, and I kept getting promoted. But after 9 years, I realized it wasn't what I wanted to be doing. I didn't find any joy in it. It wasn't my thing. So I really started considering pursuing another career. And at the time, my husband and I were fortunate enough to go visit France. And while we were there, we took a tour of a vineyard. And I got to see how the farmers grew grapes and made wine. And I was fascinated by the history of the whole process and how this had been going on for centuries, and the science and art of winemaking. Because I don't come from a farming family like many of you may come from farming families. I know nothing about it, and it's not my talent. So I was really excited to learn more about that, and I researched what it was to, what the history of winemaking was in France and also in the United States and California. And as I was researching, I started coming up with a kind of storyline in my head about an immigrant who is a winemaker, a woman who's a winemaker in France, and her family comes on hard times and she commits a crime and is forced to flee to the United States. And then how does that journey work out? And that's what my first novel ended up being about. So what was interesting is after 9 years of banking, I was able to pursue my dream of becoming a novelist. But I will tell you that it took me 13 years in between having 3 children and raising them to finish and publish my first novel. And of course, I was researching winemaking and life at the turn of the 20th century, but I was also researching and studying how to write a novel. I had not learned that in college, at university. So these are a whole new set of skills I had to develop. And so I did that by reading other great authors and also learning about how the craft of writing, how to develop characters, how to do all that. So, how to develop a plot and a storyline and how to keep the reader turning the pages. So these were all things that I had to learn. And it was my second career. So I want to, talk to you a little bit about how does one find their passion? And you may have many, many different careers over your lifetime, and you may pursue many different passions. I'm passionate about being a mother as well, and that plays into my novels when I write. But really the primary question is, what brings you joy? What is that spark in you? That, do you love healing animals or people? Do you love, traveling? Do you love writing like I do? Do you love caring for children? Do you love flying? Do you love, whatever, working with computers, solving complex math problems? These are all wonderful things that can bring you joy depending on who you are. So try to identify what your top passions are and pursue one of them. Just go for it. How do we do this? Let's talk about how we pursue our passions. Well, like I told you, my passion was writing, but I knew nothing about it, so I researched it. And that alone was also a joy for me. And when I started, I knew nothing about this. I knew nothing about the wine trade in France. I knew nothing about how to develop a character. I knew nothing about how to write dialogue between characters. But I did know how to read books. So I read a lot of books, and that taught me a lot. So I would encourage you, once you identify your passion, there are really 3 things I would say to you. Well, 4. The first is, when you pursue your passion, especially if you're a creative person and you're putting out your art or your writing or your poetry or whatever it is, or any work that you do and you put out to the world, there will be critics. People will critique you, and that's okay. We can learn a lot from our critics, but don't be discouraged, because you're not creating and you're not putting forth yourself for the people who are going to critique you. You're doing it for the people who love your writing, who love your poetry, who love your art. Those are the people that you are creating for. So always remember that. We can learn from our critics, but they're not the people we're trying to please, okay? And you always have to listen to that inner voice and go where the inner voice guides you, because you know better than anybody else out there what passion you should be pursuing if you really listen. Everybody has a spark. Everybody has a divine piece of the source in them. And that is what we're put on this earth to do, discover what our purpose is and hopefully leave the world a better place by fulfilling what it is that we're supposed to do, our passion. So that's the first thing. The critics, we can learn from them, but don't be discouraged by any critique. The other thing is, you need to observe your thoughts. When you pursue your passion, observe the thoughts you're having about that. Are you saying, oh gosh, I really want to be an author, but I don't know anything about writing, and what if people don't like it? And I've never been very good with commas, or I don't know, punctuation is... You can figure all that out. Banish your doubts from your mind. Replace all the doubts that you have, the thoughts you have every day, with healthy, positive thoughts. I used to say to myself, and I know it sounds silly, but this is what I used to do. I used to say, I am a best-selling, award-winning author. And I would just keep saying that. I am a best-selling. Before I'd even written the page for the day, I would keep saying that. And eventually, as I wrote more and more, I got better and better. And it turns out that, yes, I am a best-selling author, an award-winning author. I didn't know that would ever happen, but I kept striving for that. And now my books are published across Europe and also here in the United States and Canada. And we're just expanding every year. So it was really exciting, but it took a long time. So keep persevering. So observe your thoughts and banish your doubts and replace them with positive thoughts. I know it sounds corny, but I'm telling you it works. The other thing I would say to you is do something every day to work towards your goal, whatever that passion is. Whether you want to be a pilot or you want to be an author or you want to be, a veterinarian. Do something every day to take action that gets you closer to that goal. So for example, maybe if you're an author, you want to be an author, you write a paragraph a day. You write a sentence a day. You email me and say, Kristen, I really want to become an author. Can you read some of my work and let me know what you think? Can you give me some ideas on what books I should read to learn the craft of writing? I am happy to reply. So please email me, but take a step every day in the direction of fulfilling your passion and working towards your passion. So just take action every day. That's my other advice. And then lastly, I would say, visualize what success looks like for you when you reach it. So what I'm saying in terms of visualization, to give you an example, for a year when I was trying to get my novel published and talking to agents and publishers and really trying to get it out there, I would visualize what my finished book would look like. I would close my eyes for a minute every day and smell how, the fresh ink would smell on the page and how the pages would sound as I flip through them, and how the book would feel in my hands. And most importantly, I summoned the emotion that I would feel when I held my published book in my hand for the first time. All that joy, all that happiness, I would summon that every day and feel it as if it had already happened. And one of the funny things is when it finally did happen and I actually held my published book in my hand for the first time, I wept, I cried. I was so overcome with emotion and joy and just gratitude that I could fulfill my passion and my joy and share it with the world. So I would say visualization is so important, and it's important that you do it every day. So those are the things I would say to you. Banish the doubts from your mind, replace them with very positive thoughts. Take action every day, okay, towards your goal, towards your passion. Take action every day, even if it's small, even if it's just 5 minutes. Just do it. And then lastly, visualize what that's going to feel like. And visualize what it's going to look like and feel like and sound like, and all of that. And you will achieve your goal eventually. It took me 13 years, but I got here. And now I have 3 novels published. So there you go. And working on the 4th. And so I would just like to leave you with the idea that, we're all taking time out of our day to talk to you about Passion Project because we believe so strongly that you have that spark and that divinity, and you will make the world a better place if you pursue your passion. So we're here to help you. And I would encourage you to reach out to me, especially if you have questions about being an author or writing, at www.kristenharnisch.com. You can email me through my website and check out my work there. And, just if you have questions or you want me to take a look at your work for you or anything, I'd be happy to do so. So please do reach out. And lastly, I want to say God bless and good luck to you all. We have all the confidence in the world that you will get where you want to go. Take care. Bye-bye.
Nanipaga moyo nikianza kulia chozi nafutia.